Boom. We're here. We are here, podcast recording from home. We are here. Little housekeeping. If you're listening, rate, subscribe, share. If you are watching, if you're listening, you can also watch on Big Moon TV. That is our YouTube channel. It's fully built out. If you want to know more about what I do, and personal training, fitness and healthy lifestyle coaching, all that good stuff, you can go to bigmooncoach.com, Instagram, Eric_BigMoonCoach. We are this brand continuity for you. So that's a little housekeeping. Also, get prepared for our work with Carly Golightly, our podcast with her. Get prepared for what's coming with Dr. Carly Golightly. That drops on Fridays for the next 5 weeks. That may actually drop on a Monday as well, but it's definitely going to drop on a Friday. On Fridays most weeks. It's about naturopathic medicine, some sciencey stuff, some healy stuff, but from a medical perspective. As much as, so we've had a mod on the podcast. We've had a shaman on. We've had doctors on. We've had Christians on. We've had a wide array of people in the healing space. We've had a wide array of people in the healing space, and we don't want to, I was talking about it in a group that I'm in. I just don't want to be dogmatic about anything. I want to be open-minded about everything that I do. I want to be open-minded, and I want to speak to everybody. You know what I mean? We had Gabby Ybarra on last week, and she come from a Christian perspective, a non-12-step perspective to staying sober. So we have no monopoly on sobriety, right? Like, stay sober how you want to stay sober. So yeah. Check out, let me slow down. Look forward to Dr. Carly's podcast coming out each week on Friday. She drops bars. She's brilliant. I am a big fan of Carly, so check that out. Again, if you're listening, go to Big Moon TV on YouTube. The audio and video of Dr. Carly will be coming out. So on both places, on the YouTube channel and on the Hearts of Everything, iTunes, Spotify, all that. So, eerie Thanksgiving, was it not? Was that not an eerie fucking Thanksgiving? Like, it was weird, man. It was weird. So my partner worked, so she wasn't there. Partner worked, so she wasn't there. There was only about 5 of us with the kids, 5 of us, and big dinner and everything, like full Thanksgiving, but there's only 5 of us, and it was weird. It was odd. It was odd, man. It was odd Thanksgiving. But still, this time of year, what are you grateful for? I have a lot to be grateful for. So, duffel bag, syringes, family, long stretch. And this is being recorded on November 30th, December 1st, 24 days from then, I'll be sober 7 years. 7 years. It's a long time. It's time to break that Eric alcoholic. It's time to break that and start being Eric. Eric and everything else. Eric, everything else, that's why we talked about being free and intimate and spiritual. I got a little cold. Not COVID, though. I got sniffles. and I can taste everything. So no COVID. But it was an eerie fucking Thanksgiving, man. Not a lot of us gathered, so that was weird, and it's just weird. But so what are some other things going on? Obviously, if I'm recording from home, I take off the month of December to really focus on family. So I'm here in the desert, trying to be fully present for my family, doing a little bit of work out here, training some clients. It's interesting training again, training clients one-on-one again. That's interesting for me. Pause. Yeah, it's interesting training clients in person again. I just couldn't. It was so monotonous. I understand some people really love it, and I try to be creative, but I was in the gym from 5 a.m. and then I would I would leave the gym at 10, and then I would try to take a nap, and then I would go back to the gym at 3, and then I'd be there until 7. It's like, fuck, man, long days in the gym. I just couldn't do it anymore, It wasn't working for me. So, and it was just, there's such a salary cap. There's such a salary cap on, there's only so many hours in a day. And what are you going to train 12 hours a day? You know what I mean? Like, that's just not a good business move. You have to graduate at some point. So I went to remote coaching, online coaching, more higher end, higher dollar, higher ticket coaching. And I did that from 2018 until a couple months ago. I still have fitness and healthy lifestyle clients. And I say fitness and healthy lifestyle because it's not just personal training. Some people it is. Some people just want fitness stuff, and that's fine. If you want just fitness stuff and workout stuff, some people, that's what they want. But the goal is to have a well-rounded fitness life. And that's really what I'm trying to teach, is a well-rounded fitness life. So that's why it's fitness and healthy lifestyle coaching. So I have a few clients there still, but really the work that I do is sober work. When I was going through that hectic time, there was 8 weeks. There was 8 weeks in August. Well, it was August, September, where I was sober companioning, and now that's something that I'm doing full time, either sober coaching or sober companioning. I'm just in this industry now. That's the work that I want to do. It's the work that I've been built to do, and I enjoy doing. Still getting to help people, still adding the fitness component, still adding the wellness component. We're just helping people, people get clean and stay clean, in the capacity that I can help them integrate into a sober lifestyle, because some people really have a hard time, plugging into a sober lifestyle. It's challenging for people. So, helping people plug in there, helping people create a schedule, helping people set goals, just helping people learn how to live a different way. Just like I had to learn how to live a different way, and you continue learning how to live a different way over time. But that's another reason that the sober thing is always on my mind, is because it's the work that I do. You know what I mean? It's involved in everything that I do. And then all my friends are in 12 step. So we talk sober talk, and it's just, but a friend of mine pointed out, like, he was like, yeah, man, you don't have to think like that anymore. You're just not that person anymore, and I still, that is a battle. That is a battle, because it's like, yeah, you don't want to identify with that, but yeah, you don't want to stop identifying with that. Because I have lots of friends recently, shout out to them, trying to drink like normal people, trying to smoke blunts like normal people, and they just forgot. They stopped identifying. They stopped identifying with us, and they started to have that get that virus in their mind that they're normal. The great obsession of every alcoholic and drug addict is that they can use like normal men. That's the great obsession. I see others taking drinks with impunity, and they say, why can't I? Why can't I drink? I can manage. If only I can manage, I just don't want to ever get that virus. It's a virus. It's a virus. It's a disease. It's a disease in your mind, and it could be there could be a little piece of that in your mind that says, maybe one day, maybe one day, maybe one day, maybe one day. And if you're not consistently on a regular basis saying, no, I'm Eric, I'm a drug addict. I have to remember, I'm Eric, I'm a drug addict. I have to remember every day, and I have to do the other work that's required to stay sober. If I stop doing that, that virus grows and it takes over your mind. And before you know it, you're like, I'm with some friends. I want to have a glass of wine. That's not what my body wants. That's not what my body wants. My body wants dope, baby. So that's part of the reason I identify every day. Look, I'm looking at a book of Alcoholics Anonymous right in front of my face. It's on my desk. And not only on my desk here, but it's on my desk in San Diego. It's just, I'm going to talk to 5 alcoholics today. It's just, it's involved in everything I do, but I also don't want to be limited. Part of being a free man is not being limited by your past. And I spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about my past, because for me, I'm a seeker. I'm a searcher. I'm a seeker. And seeking knowledge of self, seeking the power in yourself, seeking the understanding of self helps you understand the other people. So there is value in fully understanding self and fully evaluating self. So that's like part of the work. That's like part of one of my gifts, is that I'm introspective and self-aware, and it allows me to function well, help other people, because I know that I'm a human, and I know you're a human, and I know there's some variation of similarity in there, So, seeking after the idea of self, as being a free man, I forgot my fucking point, but I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to limit myself to Eric Alcoholic. And my point was, I go through my past. I was looking at it today in my notes. I was going through my past, and like, there were so many traumatic things, but I don't want those traumatic things to define me. But in order to change the patterns, I have to fully acknowledge the trauma. I got sniffles. Yeah, in order to fully acknowledge, and move past things and be better, and to help other people be better, you have to fully understand your past. Not dwell on it, not let it bum you out. My brother asked me, we were talking about some stuff, some race stuff that I was dealing with. And he asked me, he's like, I know it wears on you. And it doesn't, because I'm spiritual. And we all hate that word. Or we just hate that culture. I don't like that culture, like that spiritual culture. But when I say I'm spiritual, I say that I'm fully in agreement that there is something larger than myself, whether it be aliens or whether it be, we call it God, or there's a consciousness that is larger than myself. There's a consciousness that's larger than myself. Even if spirituality is the collective conscious of a group of people, whether it be a group of people in 12-step or the world as a whole, the collective conscious of the world as a whole. I don't know what it is. I just know I'm not in charge. And I know there is something larger at play. That's why I say I'm spiritual. There's something larger at play on energies and do and woo. I don't like to think of it. I think of it very practically. Very practically. It's just there. Even if like, because we can only perceive in our 5 senses, right? So even if there's things happening on our planet that we can't perceive through our senses, I believe there's something somewhere that is larger than myself that is dictating the world around me. I don't think everything is just chaos. Everything is just chaos. I just don't think that. And I fully don't believe that. But I don't know what that looks like. That's why I'm able to have Christians on. That's why I'm able to have shamans on. That's why I'm able to, use hot bay and do combo and even work with crystals and do where I have my mala and meditate and do all this stuff. I'm open to all of it. I'm open to all of it, and that's the why I say I'm the spiritual nature. But you got to seek. You got to seek. And seeking knowledge of self will help you see others. So it's hard not to dwell on the past because I'm always seeking, and I'm always trying to better understand existence. I'm always trying to have a better understanding of existence, just so I can, interface more productively with the world. I want to learn how to play with others. I have a hard time playing with others. I'm a do whatever the fuck you want to do kind of guy. I am a do whatever I want to do kind of guy. So I want to play well with others. But if I want to play well with others, I got to play well with myself. Whew. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. But that's why I always talk about the spiritual shit, because I'm just seeking. I'm going through a period of abstinence, or I'm attempting to. Who knows if I will succeed, because that is spiritual discipline. That is hard to not be driven by lust. You've heard me work through this and to get to this point over the last couple weeks. That bitch breathe. But yeah, I've worked through and to get me to this point over the last few weeks, and I'm attempting this period of abstinence. My partner and I are not having sex, no masturbation, no nothing, and it's fucking hard, man. It's hard. The world is such a lustful place. But I'm not a victim to the world, I can completely absolve myself of all temptation, right? Like I can get off Instagram, I can get off Facebook, I can unfollow and but I don't want to. Because I'm a man, right? Because I'm a man, and these are carnal natures. These are natures. But I want discipline. Discipline is very important to me. I've been training every day, not every day, but training regularly, squatting, deadlifting, just training my body again. I want to go back to building my disciplines because I was doing these workshops over the past couple weeks and then bouncing. And then the kids were home. The kids were home for the last 5 days. I haven't been meditating. So I'm out of my disciplines. Discipline equals freedom. We've heard this. That shit, I don't even want to say that shit. I don't even want to say that because it's that overused. But for me, building disciplines is what makes my life more structured. It makes me being able to function within the lines. I have to create parameters for myself. I have to create, I have to compartmentalize my life. And just right now, it's not, when you have little kids, it's hard to, getting the workouts in now that we have the gym in the backyard. That's not challenging. That's easy. If I don't work out, that's because I'm being lazy. Because there's no excuse. It's just go in the backyard and just do 20 shoulder press, 20 rack pulls, 20 squats. And you just did a workout and you got it out of the way. So if I'm not doing that, that's on me. But like building the discipline, spiritual discipline. So the period of abstinence is just getting dialed in and getting in touch with self and my partner and my kids, not being driven by lust. Man, that shit is hard. So, spiritual disciplines, man, and discipline in general, create disciplines, compartmentalize your life and put, it's easier to function within a paradigm you create for yourself. You create your own life. So you're not a victim to the whims of the world. Create discipline so you can bet your life on them. Meditation, Monday through Friday, I can bet my life on my meditation. I know I'm going to meditate right after this. I can bet my life on meditation Monday through Friday. So when the kids are out of school, that gets fucking challenging. That gets challenging because my son is like a wrecking ball. He's just going from room to room, fucking shit up, kicking the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was, Kai, don't hit me no more. Fucking blah, rah, 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 rah. He's a savage. Very cute though. But he's rude. He's like, nah, 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 nah. Like he fucks with us. It's hard. So it's hard to meditate, it's hard to meditate and take the time, especially I can't easily relax when I hear him just going from dropping shit and going from room to room. That I cannot relax like that. I can't relax like that. This shit is not relaxing. This shit is not relaxing. And then here's how I know I'm a decent dad. When my partner's doing it by herself, I feel guilty. I don't feel like, let that bitch handle all of it. No, I don't ever feel like that. Unless I'm out here trying to chase this bag or chase these dreams, recording the podcast, networking, growing in San Diego, that I can wrap my head around. Even though when I'm in San Diego, I still feel guilty when she's all stressed out. And, I can't wait for the day where I can, where she can quit her job and just chase her dreams. Because let me just say this, the women who let their partners, their men or women, chase their dreams, and the families, the parents who help their kids chase their dreams, shout out to those fucking people. Shout out to those people. Right now, my brother's running for office. I'm chasing a online fucking career. Just everything is online in this space. The goal is full coaching online, podcasting, YouTube. Like, I'm chasing that dream, grinding it out, putting 150 episodes of a podcast up and recording we're chasing our dreams. My mom gets frustrated. She's like, yo, I just want you to be secure. But she lets me chase my dreams. My girl, she gets frustrated. She's like, yo, what are we going to do sometimes? Because sometimes it's kind of feast or famine. Sometimes you make 20 grand in a month. Sometimes you make 5. Sometimes you make nothing. And you just got to pray and you just got to hope things turn around. That's the honest to God truth. That's a young business person. It's hard to raise kids like that, Got to save. I just started saving aggressively. But I get hood rich. I get N-word rich. That's how I think about it. I have just a poor relationship to money. I have a drug dealer, drug addict's relationship to money. It's just very poor mindset, very, very limited financial mindset. But shout out to all the men, women, and parents who are letting their kids chase their dreams. That is a big deal. And chasing dreams outside of the normal confines. My brother running for office, he's not working. He's just running for office. That is a huge dream. That is a huge dream, to leave his secure job in the DA's office and to go run for office. That is a huge leap. And my parents are like, fuck yeah. We're all like, go, go, go. We're all cheering him on. Shout out to all the people who let their family chase their dreams. And shout out to the people who don't have family who are supporting them and chasing their dreams anyway. Shout out to those people. Because that's hard to not have the support, but still, doing what you're doing. So I every podcast I write a little love letter to my family because I'm so stoked to have the family I have. But back to the original point, create disciplines for yourself. Spiritual disciplines, whether it be abstinence try abstinence for 2 weeks. Try abstinence for 1 week. 1 week's easy. 2 weeks gets a little more challenging. 3 weeks, okay. Gotta get the poison out. 4 weeks, you're itching. 4 weeks, it's gonna come out by itself probably. The poison's just gonna say, gotta leave. In your pants. probably what's going to happen. But creating spiritual discipline is important. So if you are a Tim Dillon fan, he had Candace Owens on his podcast, and I decided to follow her after that. I do not agree with a lot of Candace Owens. 90% of Candace Owens I don't agree with. But there's certain, so here's the reason I listen to it. And the reason I listen to Rogan, and Rogan has people on who I don't agree with, Ben Shapiro. I've listened to all the Ben Shapiro podcasts with Joe Rogan. Sam Harris, one of my intellectual heroes, I don't always agree with him. Brett Weinstein, I don't always agree with him. Jordan Peterson, don't always agree. But I listen to people I don't disagree with because Benny told me perfectly, and I appreciate him saying this. He said, Eric, you cannot be indoctrinated. And no one will indoctrinate me, you fuck. I am not joining your religion. Yes, I'm liberal, but I'm not joining your religion. Yes, I'm in 12-step, but I'm not joining your religion. Yes, I go to church sometimes, but I'm not joining your religion. Yes, I am black, but I'm not doing just what the culture is doing for the sake of what the culture is doing. I'm not saying what the culture is saying if I don't fully agree with what we're doing. So I cannot be indoctrinated. So I listened to the Candace Owens podcast, which I thoroughly enjoyed and disagreed with 90% of what she said. The voter fraud thing. I don't know about voter fraud. It's a mess. It's a mess both ways. She made a point. More people came out for Joe Biden than came out for Barack Obama. More people voted in this election, but that many more people voted for Joe Biden than Barack Obama. People were that excited about Joe Biden. That's sketchy, right? Think about it. I was not excited about him. And if I have knowledge of self, I don't think other people are excited about him either. But so I don't know how prevalent voter fraud is, but I think it's probably fucking shady shit on both ends. But she made that point. I was like, oh, that's a decent point. But what also can be the converse, what can also be the point is more people hate Donald Trump and voted against Donald Trump than have ever voted before. That's very real. There could have been conservatives who didn't vote, and Democrats who didn't vote, who were like, this motherfucker's gotta go. And they came out of the woodworks. Young people in particular who maybe felt disenfranchised and because the country's being run by old white people, they're like, something's got to change. So that's a valid point too. But Candace Owens made that point, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Her perspective on the black experience, that is what becomes so challenging for people, is her perspective on the black experience. Because she, as Sam Harris has said, the statistics around black police violence are blurry. But I know my own black experience, and I know how much racism I've dealt with. I know, and I know that it's psychological warfare. And I know epigenetics is real, and I know about redlining, and I know about black codes, and I know about COINTELPRO, and I understand the crack epidemic, even though now we're in an opiate epidemic. But guess what? There's treatment for people in the opiate epidemic. Treatment, my industry is booming. But that same compassion, those same resources weren't available during crack epidemic when it was black people. So she makes a point where she says black people play a victim. A lot of black people play a victim role. She makes a point saying black people she didn't say this, but I call it this might be coined, but I've always called it the island mentality. There's a palm tree on the island, and you eat the coconuts from the palm tree, and that's the only way you and your family have been feeding themselves for years and years and years, is to eat from this palm tree. and a lot of black people, not no black people I know, but there's a lot of people of color, all kinds of brown people who live off of the tree that has been provided. She made that point, which is a valid point. You know, it was a valid point. You know, I don't think it's as prevalent. I don't think it's as prevalent. I think white people do the same thing. I think Latino people, I think all people are doing that, but I think that mentality is part of what stops our people from growing is master is not going to save you. And your boy's consistent. I said that 2 months ago. So master's not going to save you. So just living off of government assistance is just not going to, it's not going to do it. But I'm very privileged. So let me just not even talk like I've done this on myself and I'm self-made and I grew up with family with resources. So I don't know what that's like. So let me not speak of my own privilege. See, that's the thing. I'm black and I still can acknowledge that I have privilege. And white people can't acknowledge that they have a privilege at all. Isn't that crazy? That's what I talk about. We levitating on bitches and people. You know, I'm speaking in 5D. That's what Benny and I say. We speaking in 5D. You can't even perceive what I'm talking about. But she made that point. And it just got you thinking. It's like, oh, it's true. You know, culturally, blah blah blah. And then you know, Andrew Yang, and there's a lot of democratic policy that's offering free money and give people a stipend and you know, giving people, you know, just giving, you know, giving money, giving resources, giving which part of me is like, allocate resources. Yes, allocate resources to make amends for what our country's done to impoverish and oppress people. Yes, give people shit. Help people get a head start. So yes, part of me feels like that, but also part of me feels like we gotta save ourselves. You know. So Candace Owens got me thinking. And that's why it's important to listen to people you don't agree with, because it'll just get you thinking. You don't have to agree with them. I don't agree with 90% of what she said. Another point she made was she was pro-life, but stopped being pro-life after she did her research and how Planned Parenthood was a kind of a eugenics program in order to stop the growth of the black population and the brown population. This is a historical fact. Margaret Sanger, I think, was the Singer was the lead in this. You know, and I think what's his name too? George Soros had that. I don't even like saying his name because you sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist once you say his name. But this is relevant. This is relevant. Like, you know, why are Planned Parenthoods in black and brown neighborhoods? Okay, the naive part of me will say people in poor neighborhoods need to don't have any more kids if you can't afford to have more kids. Okay, yes, I believe that. Brought up to my girl because she's pro-life, and I brought up to her, I said, if it was about the lives, there would be no children in foster care, and our foster care system is overrun and just fucking destroyed. So it's not all about the children. So let's not pretend it's all about the children. It's about control. That's why people don't want abortion to be legal. But you know, bringing that stuff, she brought that up, and she used to be pro-life until she looked into that, but then you don't want to have children that can't be taken care of. So it should be an option. It should be an option. But do you know what I am pro? That she is also pro, and this shouldn't be conservative, but family values. Obviously, I have family values. I grew up with both my parents in the household. I grew up with Thanksgiving dinner as a family, Christmas Day, waking up and opening presents as a family, going on family vacations, going on family things, to go visit other family reunions. And then in my relationship now, we have dinner with my in-laws once a week, and we sit down and we pray, sometimes twice a week. My partner and I, when we go to the grocery store, we pack both the kids in the car, and I go to the grocery store with them. You know, I'm gonna tell the truth. Sometimes relationships are hard. You want to leave. Sometimes I think that, like, fuck, man, it's just too hard. It's too hard. I know I speak very vaguely about my relationship because I don't want to, out her. It's not fair to her. But it's sometimes so hard I don't want to do it. Sometimes it's so hard that I don't want to do it. But it is a journey. Is a journey over a lifetime with somebody. And then those kids, when your kid lays in bed and says, I love my mommy, I love my daddy, and like hugs you both at the same time, you don't want to rob your children of that. Because that's when I talk about spirituality, when you feel that, when you watch a child be born and then you see that child give you and the mother affection as a family unit, that's divine. So that's something where I agree with Candace Owens and a lot of conservatives is keeping the family structure alive even at the cost of your quote unquote happiness. Sometimes I'm not always happy in my relationship. Not always happy in my relationship. But it's not to the point where she and I are always fighting and beefing and the kids are like, blah, blah, blah. We beef for sure. We don't yell, there's no more yelling. I used to yell, but there's no more yelling at each other in the house, and there's no violence in the house. There's some passive aggression. There's attitudes. But, you keep the family together at all costs. You keep the family together unless it comes to the point where it's an absolute breaking point and it needs to end. And everybody knows when that time is different for everybody. Some people have been married 35 years and finally decide to get divorced, which 35 years is a long fucking time. So if you're married 35 years, you decide to get divorced and want to live the rest of your life the way you want to live it, I support you. More power to you. But in these years, with my kids being so young, there's you fight for it because it's larger than you. It's larger than you. So that's one thing that that I agree with is keeping especially the black family intact. Keeping the black family, and I consider myself, even though we're a mixed race family, we're brown. Both of our kids have brown ancestry, and will be viewed as brown people passing as they might be white passing. My oldest is white passing. My youngest will be hypersexualized because of his hair and his skin, so he'll be accepted because of his looks. But he black. He'll have a moment in his life where he's black. Well, someone will remind him. I guarantee it. Right now, baby, you don't have to think about it. We don't want him to think about it for as long as possible. Don't want him to think about it for as long as possible. It's another privilege that white people have. You don't ever your kid doesn't have to question their existence ever, or question their value on the planet. Black people were already having that conversation with our kids by the time my mom had that conversation with me in elementary school. She said, Eric, you're big and you're black. You got to be careful. They're going to judge you. I remember that conversation specifically. I stood at the back of the line because I was the tallest. I looked like I was 13 when I was fucking 10 or 8, She had that conversation with me, and you've heard me talk about that, blah, 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 blah. But one thing I agree with from that Candace podcast is she talks about family values. Try to keep the family together. 2-parent households. We talked about toxic masculinity. Someone called me toxically masculine a couple weeks ago too. I was like, a little bit, but not really. That's such a contempt prior to investigation. He's just talking about what I look like. Damn, I just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, try to keep the family together. So yeah. listen to people you don't agree with. Listen to people you don't agree with, and don't just dismiss them. And I dismissed her during the George Floyd thing because I was very emotional. You know, I was like, fuck this bitch. It wasn't productive at that time. It was counterproductive. It was divisive. You know, let black people be unified. You black too, be unified. You don't have to agree. Just shut the fuck up. Don't be the black person telling white people that they're right now, because there's a lot of wrong right now. You know, so yeah, it's you know, she I don't like the way she moves a lot of the time, but listen to people you don't agree with and learn something. Learn about other people. Just lemon and honey. So we're gonna finish up talking about this Wu-Tang documentary. I'm late, but man, I love Wu-Tang. I have a Wu-Tang tattoo. Boogies. I'm such a Wu-Tang fan. I'm such a child of the 90s. The first two albums I bought was the Marshall Mathers LP and the W. I'm not. They were 93. 36 Chambers was like 93. The W was like 97 or 98. I was 8 years old. You know, but they've been a part. My brother wanted the W and I got it. I didn't know about Wu-Tang until he wanted the W. He knew about Wu-Tang. But that documentary was so dope. It just reminded me of the influence, that the worldwide influence of Wu-Tang. And then it made me think of the influence on hip hop in my life. Like right now, I got baggy joggers on. I was wearing a big green Nike hoodie. Like I just look like I just dress in that. That's is part of, it's how I dress, is how I speak, is what I do, is what I listen to, it's that I always say that is our tribal music. The way Native Americans have their flutes, African Americans have our 808s, and we have our kicks, and we have our samples. Those are my roots. That's how I feel about hip hop. I don't feel like, oh, it's just the music I like. I feel very culturally connected to it as a black man, and that Wu-Tang documentary made me proud to love Wu-Tang. You know, and you know, to see all of their trials and tribulations as a group, and to see all that was dope, and just remind me how much I love Wu-Tang and how much I love hip hop. I love it, and I love new shit because there's new fire. I love old shit because there's old fire. You know, I just love the culture. I love the culture, and you know, being a free black man, because I consider myself a free black man. Part of that is because my family raised us to be free, but hip hop is free black music. It's free black expression. Like, oh, why do we got to say the N-word? Why? I don't say that really. You've probably heard me say on the podcast one or two times because it slips out. But I don't really say that word I call it the N-word. Obviously, I could have just said it and it wouldn't be bad if I said it, but I call it the N-word and I don't use it. But, oh, they use it in hip hop. They talk about pussies. They talk about fucking each other. Talk about the twerking. They're free black people. Let them talk about whatever they fucking want to talk about. We free. Then we weren't even allowed to read a couple 100 years ago. Well, let's wrap it up. We lost video, but we're gonna wrap it up. If you're listening, subscribe. If you are watching, listen, share, all that. Eric_Big Mood Coach. BigMoodCoach.com. We're gonna wrap it up. We lost video, damn, but we finished on a good note. So good 40-minute podcast. We did good. First at home podcast. Have a great week, and wait for Dr. Carly Golightly. She comes out this Friday. We out.